Let's talk to our man. He is Grant McCauley. He covers our Braves on a daily basis. Nice day off yesterday. I don't even want to ask what you did on your day off, Grant. I hope you enjoyed it. But it's back to work, and tonight we get Michael Soroka. What are you expecting from him tonight?
Yeah, hopefully building on what he's been doing since he went back down to Gwinnett and reeled off 3 consecutive quality starts. I think that's really all you're asking for, to be honest, is just to see him go out there, have some consistency, execute his game plan, maybe get you through 6 innings, and then kind of see what you can do beyond that as you move forward, because he's slated to get a couple of starts here over the final, 10 or so days before the All-Star break. But it all starts with this one tonight, and then you build on the next one. But I think he's done a nice job of just continuing to refine things in Gwinnett. He was an out away from a no-hitter in a 7-inning game just this past time out. So I think he started to show the Braves a little bit of, hey, I may be ready for that next shot, and maybe this shot will be the one that makes him stick around for a while.
For guys who don't remember, right around Memorial Day weekend, before and after, he got shelled by the A's, got shelled by the Diamondbacks. ERAs at 8.38. So what were they wanting? What were they asking him specifically to be working on?
I think it's more about just being able to execute. And while the A's start was really a span of about 3 bad batters, right. You're right. The one against the Diamondbacks, you knew that was going to be a challenge because of how talented that lineup is. He just was not able to get the fastball over. Just a lot of uncompetitive pitches. And if I remember right from that postgame report, 2 swings and misses in his time against Arizona's lineup a couple of times through, and just not able to really get out. And when you can't get swings and misses, obviously that lets you know that the hitters are able to take the pitches that are not around the zone and they're not enticed to expand their zone. And you're also not really over the plate in a way that's conducive to getting outs. And that was a problem against Arizona. So honestly, it's not a stuff thing. It's not a, go learn a new pitch or anything like that. And I was going back and going through some of the things that Michael said way back in spring training when it started about how important it was to get a little bit of a head start in the minor leagues last year, seeing the pitch clock, those kinds of things. But he said, look, I've changed a lot of things mechanically. So as much as anything, it's going to be about getting comfortable with that again. But it is a challenge to go out there pitching competitively and still trying to be comfortable with mechanical changes that are much different than the way he has pitched all the way through his amateur career, through the minors, and then having success at the big league. So I think that's the work in progress, and that's what he's just continuing to basically sand down and smooth out the rough edges each and every time he goes down or goes out.
How many more All-Stars are we going to get, man? How many total do you think we have?
It's funny. Nick Green asked me the same thing prior to the game. We were just chatting on the field about the possibility of at least 3 more is what I would say conservatively, because you got to look around the infield. I think that Matt Olson should be there. Ozzie Albies should definitely be there. And then Austin Riley, I think, has got a decent case as well when you look at the third base field across Major League Baseball. But then you also, at least the National League. But then you look at 2 pitchers that have some pretty nice resumes, Spencer Strider and Bryce Elder. Now, we'll point this out. They could be named All-Stars, but may not pitch in that game based on the rules about starting pitchers who throw in the last couple of games before the break, not really being eligible to throw in those All-Star in that exhibition contest. So we might see more. And I would definitely tell you that Bryce Elder, Sean Murphy, we talked to before the game about his first All-Star game. He was asked, what do you think about Bryce Elder's case? Should he be there? And he says, absolutely. He's leading the league in the most important thing, allowing the fewest amount of runs, and he has done it very successfully this year. So I wouldn't be surprised to see at least 3, maybe 4, possibly 5. I guess that's my answer.
It is our man, Grant McCauley, guys, on the waitfor.com hotline from up at Truist Park as the fish get fried this weekend, we hope. I saw your tweet, Grant, earlier talk about what's going on with Max Fried throwing to some contact, right?
Yeah, good to see that. That was the next logical step in his progression, or the next literal step was, when are you going to face some hitters? He did that before BP with a live batting practice session, I guess is what they're terming it. That's not going to be more than about 20, 25 pitches. So, he's still going to continue to build up that pitch count in a bullpen setting. And then if he does this, I would say at least a couple of more times, you start thinking about a rehab assignment, which I would imagine would be at least 3, possibly 4 starts. And so that timeline to me says closer to the trade deadline is when we would probably look at seeing Max Fried. Could it be sooner? Maybe. But then you look at the way the Braves are playing and you think, why rush it if you're able to play as well as Atlanta is? You want Fried back, but where you really need him back is when you get into the nitty-gritty of trying to win down the stretch into October. That's when you want those bullets from Max Fried to be expended, not just rushing himself back in the month of July just to try to prove something to somebody, or simply just rushing him for whatever reason. There's just no reason to do it.
Don't forget Hammer and Hank bobblehead giveaway. Gates open at 11:30. That's going to be on Sunday, guys, July 2nd. But it's a full weekend of fun and activity over at Truist Park. Talk about the lineup tonight just a little bit. We get a day off. It doesn't really change up, but Albies hitting second, Acuña leading off, Riley, Olsen, then Murphy, and then Marcell Ozuna. The way things have been going, I love this line. I love this version of our lineup.
Right.
If you're going to do this. Now, I know you can't do it every night, Grant. I get it. But this version, I love.
I really do too, but I will say, as far as Travis d'Arnaud is concerned, there's not too much of a drop-off when you change the catcher spot out. Murphy's having a career year, but since Travis has come over, he offensively has been one of the better catchers in the National League, so it's really nice to be able to have them in tandem. You don't have to worry about burning either guy out, and we've already seen what happens when somebody's gone for an extended amount of time. Murphy really covered things without Travis d'Arnaud for a good part of a full month. And then you had Murphy dealing with a hamstring thing, and Travis d'Arnaud was in there doing some big stuff. So that duo I would circle as it's kind of one of the keys to the success of this lineup. Obviously, what Marcell has done, what Eddie Rosario has done in turning their seasons around over the last 6 to 8 weeks has been big. But as they say, it all starts at the top with Ronald Acuña Jr. He's playing at an MVP level. He has owned the Marlins, and the Braves, meanwhile, have also owned the Marlins in the season series. They're up 6 games in the standings coming into this one. Both teams have won 5 in a row, so they're both hot. But Atlanta's taken 6 out of 7 this year from Miami. So right. I'm looking at Ronald Acuña Jr. as kind of the guy, to throw it all the way back, the straw that stirs the drink here. And we'll see what he's able to do against this Miami club, because he has taken some very, very big swings over them in the course of his very short career.
Yeah, Brian Hoeing going on the bump tonight for the Fish. He got racked by the Braves back in April. That was here in Atlanta. 4 earned runs in 3 2/3 for what it's worth. But his ERA has gone down since then. We talked to the Miami Herald beat reporter yesterday. He also said that Alcantara's been struggling a little bit this season.
Yeah, no, Alcantara has not been the guy that won the Cy Young last year. I mean, he's had an ERA approaching 5 for most of the season. You'll get the odd, gem from him, and then there'll be one where you just kind of wonder, all right, well, what's going wrong? I mean, we had to deal with that for 2 starts with Spencer Strider, and it stressed people out. Sandy Alcantara's whole season has been that way, and he's not the big-time strikeout pitcher that Strider is. So they need to get him going. But around him, it's not just Sandy. That's the crazy thing about their ability to develop pitchers. Brian Snitker said that's one thing that has them where they are. That, they've gone out and gotten some good veterans, but this young pitching, whether it's Uri Perez, who is a standout that they brought up at 20 years old to help jump into this rotation. Jesus Luzardo has been pitching great. Braxton Garrett. The Braves have had success against some of these arms. Yes, but overall, Miami has got a pretty nice starting thing going. If they get Sandy right and he's able to pitch his best baseball down the stretch, this has the makings of a team that could do some buying, some very smart buying around the trade deadline, and find its way into October in one of these wild card spots.
We're talking with Grant McCauley, guys. Braves, Marlins this weekend over the 4th of July weekend. And it should be a good series. Again, the Marlins are playing for something. These are not meaningless games. But we got to keep playing the way we are. And right now, Grant, we talked a lot about this yesterday. We're not just the best team in the NL. We're the best team in the majors. Would you agree?
That's what it's feeling like. I mean, all due respect to, Tampa Bay got off to that incredible start. They're still playing a very high level of baseball. The Texas Rangers have played extremely well. The Diamondbacks have surprised a lot of people. And then the Baltimore Orioles are also on that list. I was going through the 5 best records in baseball. 3 of those have something in common. They have played the Braves in the series, and they have lost a series to the Atlanta Braves. And we'll see the Tampa Bay Rays next week. So I would say Atlanta can play with anybody right now. It's crazy to think about what they have accomplished here. And today is the mathematical halfway point. 81st game of the season. Braves have a chance to just continue to do their winning, perhaps have that best record in baseball by the time we roll into the All-Star break. And they've done all of this, getting 10 starts out of Max Fried and Kyle Wright. It's pretty impressive to see what they've been able to do as far as just being the resilient bunch that we've come to expect the Braves to be year after year.
All right, man. The bullpen's had its rest, so back to the normal bullpen roles. Yeah. We'll see Minter. We'll see Iglesias this weekend.
Yeah, expect to see those guys. And I think that there's a little bit more about, the opportunity to mix in different guys who are starting to pitch really well. Kirby Yates and Joe Jimenez in particular have thrown extremely well. With Kirby was having all kinds of trouble walking guys over the first month and a half. He hasn't walked anybody in his last 9 starts, not to jinx him, and he has looked like one of the Braves' best relievers, and Jimenez has found that couple couple of miles an hour that was missing on that fastball. So a lot of good things are happening out there, even without Jesse Chavez, who I'm not expecting to be back relatively soon. It looks like he's still trying to get himself going, but Ben Heller has stepped in and pitched well. Michael Tonkin has thrown some important innings. And then you mentioned the other guys. Minter's been throwing well. This is a very well-rounded group, one of the top 3 or 4 bullpens in all of baseball in the month of June, which shouldn't surprise you in a month in which the team goes 20-4 and has a chance to win its 21st game of the month here tonight.
When are you on, my friend?
I will be on Sunday, 5 to 7 on From the Diamond. We're going to talk all about the Braves All-Stars, this hot month of June, what we want to see before the All-Star break. And I'm going to have my old friend Casey Stern join me to give me a little bit of insight on what in the world has happened to the New York Mets that has made this season so incredibly bad for them. We're going to try to figure that out. I can't make any promises, but we're going to talk about it on From the Diamond on Sunday at 5.
All right, next week, Grant, we'll cover these hideous All-Star jerseys.
I've seen worse, but I've got a lot of questions about a lot of uniform changes that have been made under the current agreement, but we'll see.
Good stuff. Grant McCauley, enjoy the weekend. Happy 4th of July.